Let's talk niche. What is it? Is it your content or is it your audience? Are you the niche or am I the niche? Do you even need a niche? And is it pronounced niche or niche? Don't say niche. What's up everyone, I'm Zach Rollins. In today's video, I want to talk about what a niche is, why it matters, and how you can get crystal clear on your own. It's a topic every creator thinks about, especially in the early days. So if you still don't understand what your niche is, then today's the day you settle it once and for all. But first, a quick story on how I answered this question when I started writing online 8 months ago. In the early days when I got my start, I had no idea what to write about. I watched a YouTube video where somebody gave out generic advice to write out a list of my interests and then picked one to write about. I was 120 days into a daily photography challenge where I would shoot, edit, and then post a photo to social media every day. So I thought to myself, I guess I'll just write about photography. That generic advice was great for getting me started, but as you'll see, terrible for getting my writing seen. So what is a niche? The simplest definition I've come across is from YouTuber and author Ali Abdaal. He describes a niche as audience plus value proposition. This equation points out a couple flaws in how I started writing about photography though. The problem is, what type of photographer specifically was I writing for? What did the audience get from reading my material? What was the value proposition? Take a look at one of my first article titles and see what I'm talking about. Camera Shutter Speed 101. Here are the problems with this. There are 10,000 plus articles and books written on this already. It doesn't call out a specific audience. The value prop is too vague. What does the reader even get? A tutorial? Even with generic topics like this, we can enhance the likelihood that it gets read by fixing all 3 points. Check out this type. How to set up your new Panasonic Lumix S5 2X to get starry perfect night photos. Do you see the difference? If you're a photographer who owns a Panasonic Lumix S5 2X, then you know this article is exactly for you. If you've always wanted to take amazing starry night photos but never knew how, then you are definitely clicking this article. There is a saying you'll come across often in writing circles. If you write for everyone, you write for no one. Why compete with 10,000 plus other articles and books writing about shutter speed when I can write the exact same information and face zero competition targeting a specific niche? And for those who don't know, shutter speed settings are largely how you adjust the camera for night photography, so I could have written about the same information but just framed it for a specific audience. There's 2 major fears holding creators back from defining their niche. The first is the fear that nobody will discover their content if they're too specific. But like my previous example shows, you're actually more likely to click a random internet stranger's article or video if it feels like it was made for you specifically. If it were generic, you would scroll past it every time. The second reason so many new creators are resistant to defining their niche is because they're afraid of being pigeonholed. It's a fear that by writing about photography for specific camera owners, they'll get stuck writing about that forever. But it is here. I would like to remind you that you're watching a video from a guy who no longer writes about photography. I changed my niche about 2 months into my creator journey, and it wasn't because I was failing. Once I got into the groove of writing daily about photography, I found a problem staring me in the face. I just didn't really care about photography anymore. My interest changed, and my curiosity was leading me to another place. Now look, a few things happened. One, I realized writing about photography was helping me learn and understand it at a faster than normal rate. 2, I realized photography was not something I'd ever be interested in doing professionally. And 3, I realized writing and creating videos is where my real passion and interest was leading me. So my thinking was, if I don't care about photography that much, and I want to learn how to develop this other set of skills, then why not just write about content creation so I can learn it faster? And that's how I decided to change my niche. Did I have to start over? Yeah. Nobody who was following me for photography cared about my new niche. And that's okay. There's something called the sunk cost fallacy. It's the phenomenon whereby a person is reluctant to abandon a strategy or course of action because they've invested so heavily in it, even when it's clear that abandoning it would be more beneficial. If your interest and goals change, then you do not need to stay on the same path. You are free to choose another, even if it means taking 2 steps back. In the long run, you'll be happier for it. I know I am. The last thing I want to touch on before delivering some actual steps to define your niche is an idea popularized by creators such as Dan Koe, that you are the niche. And here's why he's wrong. And kind of right. Dan Koe's model looks like this. Niche equals you plus value prop. In a headline, this would look like this. How I write authentic content. Unless you're a well-known figure trusted in the space, nobody cares how you write authentic content. Nobody knows who you are yet. If you're just starting out, thinking of yourself as the niche is a recipe for failure. At the start, you increase your odds of discovery by solving specific problems for specific people. Once you have a large following like Dan Koe, you have what's called social proof. People will start to assume you're credible just because so many other people are following you. And at that point, yeah, you are the niche. But let's be honest, that's a strawman version against his definition of niche. What he really means is your unique life and experiences and your worldview can't be replicated by anyone else. And this is actually quite empowering to understand. Let's look at our formula again. Niche equals audience plus value prop plus you. Once you realize that you are the missing ingredient in the secret sauce of niche, the doors open wide. Adding personal stories as examples, creating analogies from quirky interests, and infusing your personality into your content is the key that unlocks a category of your own. For instance, one of my other photography articles that did well was titled 5 Surprising Links Between Photography and Fitness. That article idea came to me after doing some yoga in the living room. There I was, in child's pose, present in the moment, and it struck me when I was looking for the right shot, I'm always present in the moment, noticing all the tiniest little details in light and shadow. So I wrote a piece talking about what training physically teaches us about the mental game of photography. That was me infusing my unique worldview and experience into my niche. So yes, you're a part of the niche. You just aren't the niche. Now let's dive into some actionable exercises you can do to determine these factors. Get out a notepad because you're going to be doing some writing. Thinking just isn't enough. Write this stuff down, use it as a guide. It's your compass for whenever you get lost. Step 1. You. What are your curiosities? What do you like to learn about? What do you obsess over? List out 5 to 10 of them. Curiosity is a powerful intrinsic motivator. If you can incorporate your curiosity into your niche, you will always have a reserve tank of motivation when you need it. What are you good at? What do you have a lot of experience with? List out 5 to 10 of these as well. For instance, I write a lot about habits, consistency, and taking action in content creation. That's because I'm good at that. I have tons of experience with building and breaking habits. I've played guitar for 20 years now. I write every single morning. I go for a 3-mile run 5 days a week. I used to take a photo and write a haiku to accompany it for 256 straight days. And yes, I actually wrote haikus daily. I know habits, I know consistency, and I know taking action. So I incorporate it into my content. It's much easier to write about what you know. But don't worry, you can write about what you're learning as well. That's what I continue to do. I write so that I can learn. Writing YouTube scripts is a way for me to better understand what a niche is and why it's important. I'm not just sitting here as an expert commanding. I'm researching and exploring my curiosity to discover it. Step 2, define the audience. Who do you want to help? Who could benefit the most from your knowledge? Who do you relate the most with? Answer these questions honestly and faithfully. My curiosity led me to write for aspiring creators. Why? One reason is that I am one, so I knew I'd be able to relate to them. We're literally in the same boat together. Second, I saw a really common problem. Most creators fail due to inconsistency. I knew other creators could benefit from my ability to break down concepts and dish out actionable advice to keep them consistent. Third, I wanted to help creators. People who are taking risks and betting on their capacity for creativity as a living are the kind of people I want to know and help. If you already have a business or freelance with clients, your target audience shouldn't be a mystery. Your content should be geared to the specific customer avatar that you want to build trust and rapport with. Step 3, defining the value proposition. This is where you tie it all together. You should have an idea of what you want to create content around and who you want to create it for. Now it's time to figure out what exactly are you helping them with. The first thing you could do is list out 10 common problems and pain points your target audience faces. Defining your niche is a common problem creators face. And that's why I made this video. Because if I could solve one of the many problems creators face, then hopefully it'll help them stay consistent. Once you have a list, go solve them. That's your value prop. If you don't know what common problems are out there, then do some research. Look in the comment sections of other creators. Look at Google Analytics. Talk to ChatGPT. The problems are out there begging to be answered. Go answer them. Eventually, you'll find what you're uniquely suited to help people with, but this will only come with time and experience. It's taken me months to realize what I have to offer creators that others don't. There's a reason I don't help creators land high-ticket clients. I've never done that. I would be the wrong person for that problem. But if you want no bullshit, actionable advice to stay consistent in the game, I'm your guy. If you want to understand how to systemize your creative process so you can reliably pump out 2,000 word plus newsletters every week, holla at me. And if managing your creative system alongside your full-time gig is a struggle, that's something I've been crushing for 8 months now. Ask, and I will answer. Write down all these prompts, make a list of possible answers, get started before you're ready. Learn through trial and error. Reference your guide when you're lost, and go solve people's problems. That's it for today, guys. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you found this useful. I'm new here, so I appreciate all the love. Take care.